dive in. First, we're going to start with, okay, what we're proposing in Workiom. So let's start. Let me take you in a couple of slides before just diving into the action. So first of all, what is the challenge that we're addressing here is having multiple solutions. One, for an example, let's say for CRM, one for hiring, applicant tracking system, and one for task management. So that's a lot of solutions in a lot of places, which is, consequently causes the second problem, which is your data being scattered in a lot of places. So more than that, if your data is scattered in more than one place, if you update something somewhere, you're going to have to go and manually update it in all these other places as well. So this is what we aspire to achieve here in Workiom. We have achieved already, which is a platform where your data, tasks, team collaboration meets in one place. So what do we do here? You have your workspace with Workiom tailored exactly to your needs. You can configure it very, very easily. You can connect different set of data to each other very easily and automate your processes in order to get the updates that we're talking about that happens usually manually. You can have it done automatically. Moreover, we give you a very advanced set of permissions to know exactly who can access what. All right, that's a lot of things to unpack. So let's just, get right to it. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to our website, workiom.com, and I'm going to go through the sign-up process. So let's start for free, of course. Start it for free. By the way, guys, if there's anything in chat, feel free, guys, to type there. You guys let me know, and I'll just, try to answer it and get to it when the time is right. So the way I'm going to do the sign up is I'm signing up with Google because it's the easiest way to sign up, of course, everywhere in the world. So here you go, done. It already automatically takes the domain of my email.
Sorry, Irfan, we have Barish in the chat asking you to talk slowly, please.
Absolutely no problem. All right. So for the purpose of this session, I'm going to call my workspace, for an example, let's call it October webinar. And let's create the workspace. There we go. And that's my name. That's my last name. That's fantastic. Complete. And let's get down to work. So I'm going to be greeted with here is a onboarding screen that's going to take me through a couple of questions in order for us to understand what we're dealing with. So let's say I'm a startup in this case. I am a manager. For this workspace, I'm going to focus on data gathering and organization, sorta. And I will have around 6 to 10 people, say. So I will go to the templates now, which from the templates, you can choose the templates that we have here that would serve your needs best. So we've got our general template. There's the minutes meetings, expenses tracking, OKR, CRM task management, got like other, for example, category that has sales order tracking, social media planning under marketing, for example, email marketing. So it got quite a few going in here. I totally recommend that you guys go ahead and check those templates that we have, see what best fits your needs. So I'm going to start, for the purpose of this session, I am going to start with CRM. I'm just going to install it like this. It will take a couple of minutes. Not actually, it will take less than a minute. And once done, it's going to have installed the lists within something that we call an app, which we're going to see in a second. And those lists are going to hold subsets of data that I'm going to be using later to construct my CRM. So As you can see, the structure that I have with Workiom, we have apps. In this case, my app is the CRM. Under the app, I have different subsets of data. Those are called lists, and they can be connected with each other. As you can see here, I got my companies list. This is where I keep information about my the companies that I'm dealing with in my CRM. Contacts, which are the people that work in these companies, and I have their contact information, let's say their phone number, their email, whatnot. The deals that I have going at the moment, whether like it's in their first call, they're interested, we sent an offer, won or lost. And then we have the tasks that are related to our sales team, basically, since sales teams are the guys that are going to use the CRM. I have lists here also to list my products and services and keep the prices for these. Okay, these are many lists. So why do I have these many lists and how I can use them? So let's get into that actually. So in the companies, of course, like I need to put my data here. Either you can do it by, if you have a set of data, you can import it with our import wizard from here by importing it from CSV. If you want to just add one thing at a time, a new record in here, what you're going to do is either create a record, if you're going to put it manually in your system, and you can just start filling the fields that you have in here. However, I'm suspecting that you'd like to have your clients who'd like to use your services fill their information for you. And that's why we have a feature called forms. And these forms, you can share them, embed them on your website, or only share a link, or send a link even in an email. And your clients are going to fill the information for you, like I said. So here we go. Let's take the link, open the form, and check the fields together. Company name is the name of the company that is going to request the services from me. In this case, I'm just going to call it Irfanco. There we go. The size of the company is going to be 0 to 50. The phone number, in this case, I'm Turkey. So of course it's optional. For example, in this case, you can make it required. So I'm going to put something just random in here. And here we go. So of course I have an email. So I'm going to run on at funco.com. That's a lot of Irfan for one case. And of course, my company is going to have a website. In this case, I'm not going to put any. So I submitted. Now I should see this right here. If I go back, I go to companies. And as you can see, let me refresh it. And it is in here. Here we are. See, I used search because it was difficult to me to spot it within all these records. When I put just Irfan in search, and that's it, I can see it over there. So can we change this form page template? You can actually take the form and just put it on your website. Also, there are some options that you have with the forms. Let's take a look at those. So you can, for example, set a cover by setting colors, and it's going to try to treat it as gradient. Or you can actually upload your company's logo. So if you choose to upload it, you can just, like upload something from your PC. That would work as well. So that's for forms. So I created the company. I have it over here. Okay. So what is the status of this company? For me, this is something that just recently came. So it's a lead. Okay. And as a lead status, it's just new. I did not do anything to it. So do I have any contacts here? I only have the person who submitted it. I only have a phone number. let's say I call them and I understand that their name is, for an example, Jack for this example. So what I can do in here is by double clicking, I don't have to go to the contacts list. I can create it from right here. So I'm going to say the name is Jack, and I should have copied the phone number. That's all right. I can do this later. So just Jack, and that's it. Let me come here, take this phone number, copy it, go back to Jack. Here's Jack, and here's the phone number. And I saved it, and I'm done. Now I know somebody. So going ahead, now I don't know much about this company other than the fact that the phone number is in Turkey, for example. I can use that to determine the country that they're in, which is Turkey in this case. Of course, you have a list of all the countries in the world. If you do install this template, that is CRM. And then I have to investigate this country a little bit more. So how I'm going to do it is by selecting the industry. When I ask them, okay, what do you guys do? What are you busy with? So I have many industries here, the main industries to choose from. So let's say, for an example, they are in health services. And when I select health services, the business type under the industry is going to display according to this. So for an example, in this case, what do we have in here? Hospital, alcohol, tobacco, hospital. So that is for the business type. So, and of course, like if I do the website and whatnot. So, okay, that's for the companies. What about the deals? Okay, let's check the deals. So let's say I agreed with this company, I understand what they need now, and I want to create a deal with them in order to, like follow it through the process. So what I do here is I go ahead and create a new deal. The deal owner can be someone in my team. In this case, since I'm the only one here in this workspace so far, we're going to add some people now. I'm just going to assign it to myself. And we already had a call because we understand what kind of services they're interested in. So it's the first call. So what services are interested in? They're interested in a website development, let's say. All right, so still don't have a final amount because the final amount would mean that is the amount that I agreed with the client that are going to pay for the project. I still don't have a start date or renewal end date because we still basically did not agree on anything. So that's it. Let's save and close. And as you can see here, it's going to be added. I did not add the company. Let's add it very quickly. I don't have to open the record again. I just can search for it right from within the field, and I'll add it here. There we go. Now what's going to happen is going to create a deal ID based on the name of the company. If I have a start date, it's going to take the start date and reformat it and put it here. In this example, it's July 2022. So, and that's how it's going to do. Of course, because I selected website development, which as a value is taken from the list that I connected here, which is products and services. How did I do that? While I was creating this field, let's create it again. Actually, I can do that. So this one is called services only. So there will be no conflict. And I'll call it, I will take the linked list type and I'll ask it to go ahead to the products and services and give me the values from there so I can select from it. So new field, here we go. Now I have the services here. I can select them just like in this field. So the other field that I have here is it's a roll-up field. What's going to do, it's going to collect the prices of all the services that I selected in this field, because you can select more than one, it doesn't have to be one. And it's going to add those prices up until it gives me the final amount that I should charge based on the pricing list that I put for myself here. So let's add another one just for an example. How do I do that? Is I go here and I look for something. Let's say, for an example, they want a website design and they're looking for a mobile app design as well. So done, as you can see here, we have about 6,600, and it's going to update that amount to exactly that. Now, when I agree with the client, I can just put the final amount based on how much discount I want to give them, assign a start and renewal date if necessary, or end date, and that's it. I can go from there. So that's for the deals, for example. Okay, then. So if I'm dealing with deals, I want, when I send an offer, is there any Kanban board option to track the status? Thank you for that question. Let's take a look at the Kanban. I can, from my Kanban board right here, see the status of the deals that I have. In this case, I have these deals in their first call state, and these are interested. And these are, they have their offer sent, and I have some won and some lost. So, okay, is there a way to see a summary of all this, like a report or something? Of course we have that. So I go into the reports. I can see this report has a filter pre-installed to show me the deals that has been closed this month, and it takes them from the deal app, and the deals that have been closed in the last 3 months. Could I change the status? Oh, well, let's go back to Kanban and show you that, guys. So in the Kanban, what you can do here is very easily update the status of your deal by moving it from one column to the other, like this. So from first call to interested, this guy is interested now. So something should happen here, and maybe even have an offer sent. So wait a second, I sent an offer. Maybe you're welcome. Thank you. I sent an offer, and I want to create a reminder for my team to follow up with this offer if there is no action for 3 days, let's say. So let's do just that. I'm going to push this back to interested, just so I can test it again later. I will go to automations. As you can see here in the automations, what are automations? Automations are a way for you to turn manual tasks, manual updates that you have to do to your CRM, to make them happen on their own without you needing to interfere. In this case, I am going to create an automation. I will create it if a record is updated. If the record is updated under deals, the field that I'm going to trigger the automation according to is going to be the status. All right. So, okay, which status do I want it to trigger according to? I'm going to add a condition to check that, because I want, from here, I have the options. This one helps me select the fields, and this one helps me select the values from these fields. And this one helps me just getting users' informations. So in this instance, I'm going to select field. I will scroll down to find status, or I can just type status and it will appear. Here it is. Status equals, now I want the value from this field, which is, in this case, is going to be offer sent, like this. Done. Very good. So I want a reminder, right? So that reminder is going to be create a record. This record is going to be under CRM, of course. It's going to be in the list tasks. Okay, for example. The summary, I will just copy it dynamically from the deal that I have. So deal ID, there we go. So I'll just take it from that. And then the status is going to be, I'll make it static in this case, and I'll just make it to do. And the due date for me is going to be also a formula actually. And this formula is going to be 3 days from now, let's say, because I want a reminder to remind me in 3 days. So it's going to be, it helps me also get functions, this one. Let me just write now, this is how you do it, plus 3. And that's going to give me now, which is today, plus 3 days. And the task is going to get created. So here we go. This is done. And as you can see, guys, in order to help you remember what this automation is supposed to do, it just generates a title automatically. I have a hand raised. Maybe Kerem would like to add something here. Yes, Kerem. Let me just. Sama, can you help me? Or is it a. Right here. All right, Kerem, you can talk. Go ahead. If necessary. Go ahead, please. I'll ask after this section. All right. All right. Okay, then. So as you can see here, this is how the record is going to get created. The status is going to update. It's going to be updated to offer send, and the record is going to be created in tasks. So, by the way, one more thing that I can do here, I did not do, which is having the assignee being the last person who modified the record. So it's the same person. Last modifier, this field is automatic. It checks the person who last updated the record, and it takes that person and copies it to the assignee of the task. So done in this case, and this is saved. Let's go back to deals, and let's update this deal from here to here. And now what's going to happen is if I go to tasks, I will have a record created for this. Let me check the automation again. I have it in deals, status, oversent. Yeah, exactly. It's going to create a task in tasks, and that's it. So if I go back to deals, doing this should trigger the automation. All right, then. I already have 2 executions in here. I can check very clearly if there is something that has been done or not. From the execution in automations, as you can see here, there is an automation that is in progress and another one that is done. And I can open a log here that will help me understand a little bit what happened in here if you're interested in that much details. So in this case, if I go to tasks, I should see, yep, there it is. So I have the automation executed, the record created. It's the same name as the deal, and the assignee is the last person that last modified it, which is me in this case. Of course, I could have copied the deal from here. This is due date. It's 3 days from now. Now on the 19th of October. This is 22nd of October. That's good. So it is doing exactly what it is supposed to do. So, okay, is this enough? Like, okay, I have a task right now. What if I forget that this task exists? I can add another layer of automation to make sure that I remember this correctly. And this time I'm going to do time trigger. So time trigger allows me to select from a list when there is a field, sorry, in this case it's tasks. When there is a field that is due date, okay, when it arrives, when it arrives, done. What you're going to do in here is you can send me an email, an SMS, or notification. Email is going to require you set up the email integration for your email provider. SMS the same thing, so I'm just going to send a notification in this case. I can select the user. In this case, it's going to be the assignee. And I'm just going to write the message, the time to follow up with your deal is today. That's it. Done and done. One more thing that I can do here, if I want to spice it up a little bit, I can say with your deal and actually get the name of the deal. So the summary of the task is the name of the deal because we copied it from the deal. So I can add that here and it's going to show me that exactly that. So this is going to trigger when the timer arrives, but of course that is going to be in 2 days. I'm going to show you how this notification works by having a much simpler one. Just going to be a record updated. If in tasks, I update the due date, for an example, go ahead and send notification. This notification is going to be sent to the assignee. And this is a notification from the deal. And let's get the deal's name. Done. There we go. All right, so I will check. I think there is a question. I'll check it right after triggering this automation because I just like triggering stuff. So I'm going to update the due date to 24th, and I'll wait for notification to arise. It should take a minute. And let's answer some questions. All right, so I have, does Workiom only support Gmail? No, it supports any email provider that has SMTP, so that's all right. I see here quite many options in automation page, so I wanted to check out what email options you might support here. So like I said, as long as your email provider supports SMTP, you should be able to use it here. The one more thing, actually, we are now working on a native Gmail integration that is going to be live within the next 2-3 weeks. So you should be able to very easily use your Gmail with this. So as you guys can see here, I received notification. This notification is from deal. I get the deal name, general services. That's it. All right, all right. I believe that I've had much from CRM already. So how about I go ahead and just install another application if you guys don't have anything you'd like to ask in particular. While you guys type in your question, I'll just get the chance to go to templates, go to, let's say, applicants tracking and install the template for applicants tracking to see how we do HR in this case. All right, then. Took a minute. It's right here. Okay, as you can see here, I already have some data baked in that installs. It's just a placeholder. You can delete all of it and get your data afterwards, just for you to easily understand the logic of the application while trying to use it. So for example, here I have a list that holds the vacancies and another list which I can receive the applications to. And I have a list that helps me organize the interviews and understand how they went. And of course, these are supporting lists that hold information for departments and the job titles under those departments. So does Workiom, let me answer this question. Does Workiom support WordPress, WooCommerce? Can I automatically transfer my WooCommerce order to Workiom panel? You can through a third-party solution actually connect it, and it will very easily just like drop to Workiom. Yes, you can do that. So I hope I answered the question, but I don't know. Let me know if I did answer your question. So in this case, in the list vacancy, I have the vacancies that I have in mind. I have the department and the job title under which they will be working, and whether the vacancy is open or closed for the time being. Maybe some social media management if I'm interested in posting this job anywhere, like the ad copy and ad design. And also, I have some people who already applied for these positions. let's check the applications, how they look like here, and see how I can get new applications. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be through forms, of course. So the applications that I have here, I first get the applicant name, the position that they applied to, their cover letter, so their CV, if they're going to upload it. If I have more than one person in the HR team, they're going to be the owner of this file. They can put their years of experience. As you can see here, that I can put the word years in here. I will explain this. Email, phone number, their status, where they are at the moment in our hiring process. And of course, quick link to the interviews they already had. So I have the form right here, just like in the CRM, to help me. This is how I can design the form to help me get those applications by embedding it to a website, or just simply, like give them the link through an email or anywhere else. So this is how I do it. Let's create a new application very quickly. There we go. This is the link. And as you can see here, I can give the name, the surname, and it's going to John Doe. The position that they are applying to is an engineer. The cover letter, I believe this is going to be awesome. Oh, they're just that kind of person. Yeah, I'm going to correct those mistakes. So I just can't. I can upload the CV here, put the years of experience, email. So I'm just going to upload something random in here. This sounds good. Years of experience, let's say you have 3, email, and that's John Doe at oh, right now. Their phone number is mandatory, so I'm gonna have to put that. So here we go. It's invalid number. Of course it is. Still invalid? Seriously? Oh yeah, that's fine. Sorry guys. So as you can see, number validation is something. This field is not a valid number. Okay, just still insisting. Where did I make a mistake here? Anyways, guys, get the idea. When I submit it, it just go very easily. Let's try USA in this case. American song. Okay, let's take that. So +1, 68, something, and one more thing. Okay, apparently I just lost my ability to enter a correct phone number. So anyways, going back to the vacancies and the application that I have, when I do submit it, it's going to look like something like this. Put your number. Well, yeah, that's an idea. Let me put my number. This, of course, it's gonna work. If you guys can close your eyes for a couple of moments. Just kidding. Yeah, it worked, just like magic. So as you can see here, I did submit it. And this video is now being recorded. That's going to upload the website. This is my CV, kinda. Let's just pretend it is. This is the cover letter, my years of experience, and this is my phone number. So this is the application. And of course, I have the board that will help me understand which candidate is in which stage. And also, if I do decide that those candidates are good, but not at the right time, when I move them to the pool status, because I have a status that is called pool, by the way, I can add or remove any of those status. For example, if you don't need new, you can remove it, or maybe you can just rename it or change the color. There we go. So I have pool for candidates that are good, but not at the right time. So maybe we'll go back to them in the future. This is the logic of pool. So I can see them in another view because I have several views in here, each of which have a saved filter specific to show only specific records. In this case, I'm saying when the status is pool. So I have these people, they're already screened, they're good, it's just not the right time for them. Interviews can be tricky. I put the candidate name, the position they applied to, when is the next interview. I can choose the type of interview. And of course, all of these are going to be connected under the profile of the candidate, which I have here. So for an example, if I go to someone with interviews already, as you can see here, this guy had already had the HR interview. By the way, I can see the details just by clicking under the interview right here. It expands. So as you can see here, they already had the HR interview and they were a strong no hire. However, they still decided to go with the technical interview for some reason. So they're going to have their technical interview soon. So that's something. And for you to know when an interview is going to happen, of course, you have the calendar. These are the past interviews, these are the features interviews, and the color indicates whether it is an HR interview or a technical interview. So it will be a lot easier for you to understand which is which. And of course, you can get a glance of how things are going through by checking the report that we've prepared for this. Automations that we have in here, they're going to ease your job a lot by doing the following. What does this automation do, for an example? I have an automation that creates an HR interview. Let's delve into it a little bit. What's going to happen is when I update the application status under application list right here, it's going to check if the status is HR interview. It's just going to go ahead and automatically create an HR interview record under interviews for me. So let's take John Doe and just move them to HR interview and give it a few seconds, and I should be able to see the interviews here. If you go back to the automations, it will tell you that there has been an execution, and it will tell you the status of the execution. As you can see here, it's in progress, and now it's done. If you go back to applications, as you can see here, where's John Doe? It's according to status, of course. John Doe now has an interview, and this interview still has no details. So you have to decide the date of the interview. Let's say, for an example, they're going to meet us on the 26th. You can, of course, update the time according to when you're going to meet it, and you can decide who the interviewer is. So many options that you have in here. But okay, I have all this. Now I want to add my teammates. But here, there comes a question. Do I want everybody to see everything? In which case, the answer, not always. So workspace settings can help me do that by offering a lot of options under teams and permissions. So under teams and permissions, for an example, I'm going to create a team that is called, let's call them sales, for an example. So add a new team. This team is going to be called sales. And I'm going to add a few members. Of course, I still have nobody at the moment. So I'm just going to set the permissions and then add people according to that. So let's go to permissions for now. And let's give those people permissions to the CRM app. Of course, when I select the CRM app, it's going to tell me that this is going to make the app private, meaning that only people who have access to it will be able to see it. All right, that's exactly what I want to do. So the permissions that I want to give them, I can make them an owner, meaning that they can do whatever they want with the application, almost everything. Read only check the data, but cannot update. Content editor, which will allow them to add records, edit, update, but in a very limited way. So, but I want it a little bit more customized. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go to custom permissions. Under companies, for an example, let's check it. I'm going to give them custom access. I will, for an example, let's say, yeah, they can edit everything in companies. I believe it's fine by me if they edit everything in companies. But of course, I'm going to add another layer of restriction, which is only if, which is the data limit in here, I want them to be able to do this only if they are the owner. Owner is me. Me, in this case, you'll find it all around the system. It means the person who is currently logged in. So if I log in from another person's account, at that moment, only the records that they are the owner of, they're going to see. Of course, we're going to check that in a second. So for me, this is fine for companies at the moment. Let me just fold this for a second. What's the second most important thing? Deals, of course, for sales. There's nothing more important than deals. So I'm going to add some custom access to that as well. I'm going to say you can edit almost everything. You can only read the calculated amount, let's say, for example, which is the calculated amount for the products or services. You can create a record. However, you have a data limit that you can do all this only if you own this deal. So owner is me in this case. So that's nice. I started adding those people. I decided that they're going to be sales. They only have these permissions. Let's save them. And let's go to manage members and let's start adding those people. So the way you can do this is I prepared, for an example, a couple of emails to send the invitations to. Those are the sales team members, since I already created sales. You can just, like from an Excel sheet or something, copy multiple emails and put them here, and it's going to invite them one by one. Sorry about that. So as you can see here, I'm going to copy the first one. Here we go. The second one, add it as well. Yeah, maybe a third one as well. So that guy is sales as well. So I have those people. They are members. Nobody is a super admin. I only have one super admin, and they are part of the sales team, as you can see. So those guys are going to exactly have permissions to only see the things that I allowed them to see. So go ahead, invite, and they are going to receive those invitations. In order to save time, I actually created an exact replica of what I'm doing here, right here, with many members invited, not only to sales, but also to HR and such. And I also created another layer of teams that is sales manager, for an example, which have more permissions, of course, than other sales members. So let's see, I am an owner, so I can see everything by default. So I can see, for example, if I go to companies, all companies, I can see all of them, they're right here. If I go to the account of the sales manager, for an example, let's go to the sales manager, which is King Long in this case, log in as this user, and you will see that, of course, as an owner, I can log in as users in order to check permissions. They will only see CRM. They cannot see HR. They are missing some of the settings that I have as an owner. So if they go to CRM, they can see all companies, no problem. They have access to everything. They can update. That's all right. Of course, under my companies, they can see the companies that they are the owner to. Same thing under deals. So they can see all deals in here. My deals is just a view with a filter that helps them see the deals that are assigned to them. So that's for Kim Long's. But let's go back to the main account so I can show you guys what happens if I go to another member of sales, for example. So I go to April. Let's go to April. So login as user. As you can see, April, it's going to load in a minute. And I open CRM, and I can only see my deals because the other views as well are restricted to only few people. And in my deals, April only sees the deals that are related to her. In calls and meetings, only the calls that are related to her. And same thing with contacts, same thing with companies. And of course, she has access to the board, so she can move them around. So that's how permissions works for me. You have full control over who sees what, like we said. All right, then. So that's all nice and dandy, but these are the templates that you have. I want to build something for me. So let's go build something really very quickly. I will use it for task management. It's going to be very simple. So let's say I want to start from crash. I don't want anything. I want to create a new app. I'll give it the color blue, maybe this icon, and I'm going to call it task management. And go ahead. So what are my tasks going to have? They're going to have a summary. Sorry about that. They're going to have an assignee. And the assignee is going to be from type user, because we have a lot of types of fields. If you're interested to understand those types of fields, please visit our help.workiom.com, and there's an explanation for everything. So that's a user. So I can select from the users that I have in the system already. And then I want a due date. Here's the date. I can choose whether to add time to it or not add time to it. In this case, I believe that I'm just going to keep it as is. So nothing. In some cases, even if the task is internal or not being done by sales or customer success, maybe it's still related to a customer or a certain deal. Let's say it's related to a company in this case. So I'm just going to relate it to a company by creating a field for this company, linked list, and link it to CRM. And under CRM, link it to companies. And since I only want to see customers, right? I already have a view under companies that is called customers. So I don't see the companies that are not yet a customer, because maybe I just don't want to do any internal works for them, or I can keep it just free. So if I choose to add customers, it's going to only give me the option to see the companies. If I go back to CRM here, see, these are all companies. I have 17 here. Customers are only the one with a customer status. So there's only 9 of them. In task management, when I create a new task, after I enter the summary, we need to update the deal. Let's say, for example, assign it to somebody. Okay. And in the company, as you can see here, I'm only limited by the options that have the status customer. So in this case, I'm going to take HP and close, and now I have a task for them. So this is very simply a task management app with a single list that only has a summary, an assignee, a due date, and a company. Of course, I can maybe create an automation to remind me when the due date comes so nothing gets delayed. I can create, let's say, for example, another view. And this one is going to be due today. And it's going to be a table, let's say, create. In this view, I'm going to say that if the due date is today, save, show me this task. As you can see, the task I have right here doesn't have a due date to begin with. So if I put it on the 19th, I should see it here. There it is. Of course, you're going to need to understand the status of the task that you have. So I have another thing, static list, and it's going to be to do, in progress, and done. To do is gray. This is how I like to do it. In progress could be yellow. Done is, of course, green. We'd all like to see green. In this case, this task is in progress. It's due today. I have to get done with it. So that's how I do it. Of course, I can have the board. So there's the board. The board is going to group according to statuses, these columns, and I can just move my task around. That's it, going to get updated. And of course, I can create a calendar, and I'm going to see the task that I have on the calendar like this. There we go. And that's it. On the 19th, I only have this task. Lucky me. I hope I can get done with it toward the end of the day. Okay. So this is for the task management. All right, then this is all nice and dandy. I'm a manager. I would like to see many reports, the reports that I saw right here, and also some from HR. Sorry about that. All in one place. So I want a place to collect those, and that is going to be exactly dashboards. So if I go to dashboard, I already have some created in here, but I'm going to create one from scratch anyways. Here we go, creating with manager, let's call it. Here's this, I can add a description, I can choose an icon, create, and I can just start adding things. For me, closed deals in the last 3 months is important. Closed deals in this month is important. Offer sent, maybe not so much at the moment. Service income maybe is important. So if I go to HR, I have a single report. I want to see that as well. I added, I have it right here. Of course, I can edit it to my liking. I just drag and drop these like this, this. There we go. I can expand them, minimize them vertically and horizontally in order to give them more or less space. And this is how I do it. So I already have, yeah, let's please save it. I can share this dashboard with other team members to read or be an owner, meaning that they can add or remove reports. So for an example, if I go to a dashboard that I already created, which is managerial, in this case, I can see that it's shared with Kim Leung and it's shared with Phoebe Richards, which are the manager of the sales team and manager of HR team, respectively. So in this one, I put a lot of reports from sales and one from HR. This is pretty much all I have in mind to share with you guys today. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I would like to receive any questions if you have. All right. Can you give more information for lookup? Of course, I can give more information for lookup. So for an example, I just created a task management. I am connecting this task management to the company. So I can, for an example, this here company is HP. I have a field called lookup in here. So I'm just going to call it lookup for this case. And it's going to be from the type field lookup. And in the field preferences, I can choose the company field that I put HP in. And from the company, under the CRM list, I can choose a field to show here. In this case, for an example, I want to see the size of the company, like this. So it's going to go to CRM app. It's going to go it's going to go to the company list, and it's going to get me the information regarding the size, and it will display it here. So this is how it's going to do it. Is dashboard available? Of course it is available in our business edition and anything about that. Any other questions? Let me check if I missed anything. So I already answered the email question. That's SMTP. The WooCommerce WordPress already answered that. So they answered the dashboard and we answered the lookup. And if I have no further questions, which I believe is the case, Thank you, Burhan. All right, then. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. You have been great. And I seriously enjoyed this. Hope it was the same for you guys. And catch you guys in the next webinar.